All right, for the window, I have here Payne's Gray. I have burnt sienna. Actually, this is too much burnt sienna in here, just for the thickness of the wall. Like this small, if you see here, you see that shadow right there and a bit right here.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay, and I have titanium buff. I don't think we should use white. I'm not sure for the frame because you don't want it to look too strong. I think we can get away with just titanium buff. So everybody's okay with those colors? You have them?
Yep.
You're okay? All right. So I'm going to start with the titanium buff. And this is a round brush. I'm just going to go over this
It's okay.
again.
Go. Stay. You can go.
We remember that we don't want to use put too much detail here.
Is that titanium buff without anything else?
Without anything, just titanium buff. It's not going to be exactly what you see in the picture, but it's going to be kind of a suggestion in there. You can go over those branches that we have, and then we add them again. We can put them on again, even using just a brown, any brown.
Talking to myself. Done it wrong again.
So we see only 3 sides of that window, the frame, because it's on an angle. So the wall itself is covering the fourth, the other side. So that's enough. Now I'm going to take Payne's Gray. I'm going to come here. Payne's Gray.
Is it straight Payne's Gray?
Yep, just Payne's Gray. It doesn't, your line doesn't have to be all this perfect, all the same thickness from top to bottom. So if you get a bit of a thicker, more paint on top, and then by the time you drag your brush down, it's less paint, that's okay. Again, it's just a suggestion. You don't want to draw too much attention to that, to this window. This is the burnt sienna. I'll try to highlight this burnt sienna on this side so it's not as dark as the top part. So I'm just mixing my burnt sienna. I mixed it with titanium buff.
Sorry, what did you mix the burnt sienna with?
Titanium buff for the side one.
The,
side wall.
at the top, what did you use?
Just burnt sienna,
Okay.
nothing, no titanium buff in it. I'm just trying to adjust the value. It just kind of went too light. And I think we shouldn't do more than that. That's enough.
Sorry,
That's it.
did you say burnt sienna or raw sienna?
Okay, for the boat, I'm going to use cerulean blue. That's the main color of the boat. And I'm going to tone it down with Payne's gray, highlight it with white or with titanium buff, but we'll decide once we get to that highlight part. So I'm using right now cerulean blue, and that's cerulean blue right there, Payne's gray. I'm going to take a bit of the touch of the titanium buff, not much. Okay, like my brush, this is a round brush, and I'm going to do just the trim. We've already done very kind of first layer. Now this is the second layer. To get this highlight going, I have to switch to a smaller brush. I have more control. I'm going to take titanium buff, put it in there. Not much, just enough to make my blue a bit lighter. And I'm going to come here. I'm not highlighting the whole thing. I'm just highlighting the top part. All right, I think we need a bit of white in here. This is not enough. Titanium buff is not enough. Yeah, that's better.
Just about out of it.
Let's do the same, but not as wide highlight in the back. Right there. And a bit more right here.
That's good.
Okay. I'm going to take a bit of burnt sienna. And put in it, touch, very, very small amount of titanium buff. And I'm going to come here and then just put a bit of those, this kind of burnt sienna right here. It looks like it's like a weathered kind of paint job in there. It's not, it's an old, beautiful old boat. Now, go back. Let's go back to Payne's Gray and Cerulean, and then adjust. You know, if you find your cerulean blue and Payne's Gray too harsh, soften it with titanium buff. When you start painting. Okay. Now to make this line as a trim, I'm going to start highlighting the boat, and then that will define that line better. So to highlight the boat, I'm going to take cerulean blue. Let's put some titanium buff in it. And a touch of Payne's Gray, because what I want to do is make it a little bit more gray than what's in the picture. I think the boat in the picture is beautiful. It's just, it doesn't go with the same color harmony around it. It just jumps as a color. It's just too much. I'll probably do this. And then what I'll do is I'll add a bit of cerulean blue here and there after on that boat for reflections. Okay. Whoop. I'm not taking my highlight all the way down. And I'm going to highlight. I'm going to take white now, add it to the same color, cerulean blue, and tone down with a touch of Payne's Gray. And now I have a stronger highlight. Starting the reflection of this boat halfway down. I don't want it to be all the way, because the bottom of the boat is dark, right? The bottom of the boat right there is dark. The top part is light. So I'm doing exactly the same in the reflection of the water. I'm going to try not to kind of, I'll soften the edge of that reflection. Don't make it too pronounced. Soften it. Good. Good. Okay. This is Payne's Gray. And actually just Payne's Gray. I'm just going to put a touch of cerulean in it, but mostly Payne's Gray. Okay. Reflection. Okay, so now just let's highlight this part. That's the bench. And using Payne's gray, I mean cerulean blue and a touch of that titanium buff right there. And what we'll do, as you can see, I'm simplifying a lot of stuff in here. I'm simplifying these because I'm going to add some a bit of the burnt sienna on the boat when it's dry, and I'm just trying to simplify as much as I can the whatever I see in here. I just want to make it into a soft kind of blue boat. Now, see, I'm just going to try and see if cerulean blue and white yeah, just a bit of cerulean blue, tiny bit of white in there, just to give it some shape inside. Now, I'm going to take just cerulean, only cerulean, and just bring that blue in softly here and there, not the whole thing. There. This is just cerulean, nothing else on my brush. I'm not putting the cerulean everywhere, just in certain areas to give it some oomph. Okay, good. Now, I'm going to change to a round brush. Take some of the burnt sienna. And titanium buff. A little bit of titanium buff in your burnt sienna. So it just breaks that strong red. And I'm going to make sure that my brush is dry. And I'm going to come here and out. It just brings it's nothing really that's done specifically for a reason. It just it breaks that blue in there. It's too much blue in there. And it brings the background into the front.
That's cerulean blue and burnt sienna. So what she's using.
Okay, there we go. I'm just gonna, what I'm doing right now is just kind of glaze with the blue back on again. it's blue over what I've already done, the burnt sienna that I've put in there. Just to tone it down a bit. It's a dry brush.
Layal,
Yes.
don't forget the reflection of the black rim.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm worried about that one. Okay, let's try. Let's try to do it, but in a wash, so it's not heavy. We'll put a bit of that rim, and I'm gonna soften this rim. I'm using just Payne's Gray, and I put in it a touch of titanium buff, yes. And it's a wash, so it's not heavy. It's not, it's like a glaze. I'm wiping my brush. Let's try it and see if it's gonna work. Yeah, yeah. Yes, John, you're right. That looks nice. But it's like a wash. I didn't do it heavy.
No need for it to be exactly straight.
Right. Yes, yes. Yes. With a bit of movement because of the water, yes. Okay, that's good. Thank you, John. That's a good suggestion. Yes, yes. I made it a tiny bit, kind of a bit of a movement, not much. And over here too, that would have been nicer if there's a movement of the boat in the water right here. Let's see. I'm trying to soften the edge a bit anyway. All right. So,
I need to drop off now, La. So
all right.
I'll see you next week, everyone.
Okay. Bye, Jamal.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Clean up the reflection of the boat a bit. And to finish off this, I'm going to get some orange going. This is yellow, cadmium yellow light. So I'm making an orange, cadmium yellow light and cadmium red light. Very small amount, really, really small amount. I'm going to take my round brush. I know I'm going fast, but I'm just, because I'm recording, I'm going to record the whole thing and then we'll take our time. This is an orange, a strong, bright orange. It's too bright. What I'm going to do is take burnt sienna and put it in that orange. It will make it more earthy. There. Okay, now this is going to make a big difference to the waters, the reflection and the water. I'm going to start adding those leaves. All right, let's highlight a bit some of the leaves, and the ones in the back, I'm going to highlight them a little bit more. All right, that's good. That's beautiful. That's good. All right, we have here. Okay, now the same leaves, I'm going to take titanium buff. Oh, come on, or white. White is good too. Same leaves, but I'm changing my brush into a smaller one because I'm adding white now to that. There's quite a bit of white in here to the orange. And I'm going to come back here and then add these in the back because you can't see them unless you highlight them. The ones in the back, I'm not highlighting too much. Like these are more like a glaze, and it's an orangey light glaze, but it's a glaze.
Leo,
Yes.
good night.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Good
Good
night.
night.
This is not a white. This is just a lighter orange. It's just showing on the monitor as white, but it's not. Now, let's take some of this orange, just a bit. Orange mixed with burnt sienna. Just put a couple in here. Okay. again, because we have orange, I'm gonna go to the back, right here. Brown brush, small, wipe my brush, and then add some of this bright orange in the back. This is burnt sienna, Payne's gray, and lots of water, kind of glaze. Let's put some more Payne's gray in here. So it's like really, it turned into a burnt umber. Let's take some titanium buff. That's a burnt umber. So burnt sienna, Payne's gray, titanium buff, and I'm gonna come here because I went over some of these when I was twigs, when I was doing the window.